Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Hello YouTube. I've had an interesting day today. I think I made a big mistake, but you know, God willing, I had a second chance. You hear about all the trouble I'm having with the rental agreement. You know, a landlord who doesn't want me around for no other reason than just, I guess he doesn't, I don't know. Yeah, you can hear all the dogs barking all over the place. But anyway, you know, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, you know, how to legally and physically protect myself from a person who's bent on being a bad person. A lot of my peculiar behavior has been because, you know, my CPTSD has been triggered pretty badly. You know, the other day when he started flipping out about his cigarettes and then, you know, wanting to physically harm me, you know, and I had to just literally just back out and, you know, get away from him to keep from being physically harmed by him for no other reason than just, again, he blames it on a malfunctioning light that got moved off the ground. Again, I was trying to help out. All right, we all know that. So, but anyway, then he'd come down and, you know, start screaming, and, you know, telling me to leave and all this stuff, you know. So I went ahead and, you know, I've been having a lot of seizures, lots and lots and lots of seizures lately. You know, 5, 10, 15 a day, if not more, you know. Maybe I should start keeping count. But anyway, they're not fallout seizures, mind you. I'm awake during that. That's one of the reasons why I know and can keep count if I, you know, wanted to do that in the journal. But, you know, really that's a form of emotional damage he's causing. You know, if you want to call this evidence or whatever, in case I forget or it gets lost in time. You know, this is emotional damage. But I'm still working on myself too. I'm realizing that, you know, what I have to do is what you see me been doing, putting myself back in the situation and forcing myself to do it in small and controlled doses, you know, and with the camera running so I can watch it back and evaluate myself and even other people and try to do better every time. But I started, you know, since I'm having all these seizures and I'm awake, and they're happening during the day now instead of while I'm trying to sleep and just trying to get them to stop so I can go off. Now I can actually sit here and, you know what I'm saying, start writing down the experience of them. So there is a bad positive to all this stress and anxiety he's forcing on me for no reason other than he's just a bad person at this point. He could be a good person if he wanted to change. You know, Christ, Jesus saves and all. But anyway, I have been taking this opportunity though to get back into my journal and write and write and write and write. And I did all this morning, somewhere in between looking up all the, you know, continuing to double check really all legal stuff. I think I had it all figured out, but I went ahead and just decided to double check all of it this morning. And sure enough, you know, he sent me a text about 1 o'clock in the morning saying, you know, hey, section 26 of this and da-da-da-da-da says that, you know, you got a 9-day probation period, blah, blah. And I looked it up and it was the same exact stuff I was looking up. And it only benefited me. So what I'm guessing is he didn't look it up. Somebody else said, hey, you know, this right here, you got him on it. And he just repeated that to me thinking, what else could it be? You know, again, you know, really what these seizures are is a result of a severe panic attack disorder, you know, and it's, I would speculate that a more honest term, you know, for panic attack disorder is just extreme attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. or a matured form of it. You know, for parents to say, my kid has ADHD, I believe what's really going on is they have a severe panic attack disorder or an anxiety, disorder. And if a child has one of those, well, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to be shadow banned. Anyway, so yeah, but yeah, my heart's wearing out. It's almost, that's what the seizures are affecting. It's sending adrenaline down, and I can feel my heart, whenever this happens. That's what's going on. Well, after decades of this without legal access to medication and my refusal to be a criminal, to treat my psychogenic seizures, to save my heart, well, it's almost wore out. My heart is almost wore out at this point. I'm not gonna let crazy people get away with doing this with me anymore. I ain't got very long to live, and yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so yeah, I went ahead and did all this about the psychogenic seizures and how it works out and what I've been noticing when I'm awake and everything. But then I got back to, trying to figure out him. What does he have against me? It can't be that I had tried to improve something, found a malfunction in one of his pieces of equipment, and figured we'd deal with it in a timely manner. You know what I'm saying? What could cause that other than just using it as an excuse to get away with whatever he wants, which is what I think. That kind of person. What is he doing again? Running property. Okay. I believe there are two sides to people. Conscious and subconscious. Or two sides to people. I don't know, the word side might be the wrong term, but there's two parts, or two, I want to say existence, but your subconscious, does it exist? See, that's the thing. I've been really digging into, being aware of my subconscious consciously as a method of survival, and that might be what dissociative disorder could be based on, or the way to solve it, or something. We'll work on that later. But anyway, the people who are victims of domestic abuse in early childhood, then survive after treatment. So that's what I might have meant by sides. Actually, I explained here. People who are not abused in early childhood, by definition, are well raised. Therefore, I conclude, I have to just guess because, anyway. Therefore, I conclude that the conscience and subconscious work together in a harmonious relationship. I believe the same is for the abused child who continues through life without ever getting treatment. Their minds are stable, but in a bad or immoral way. And the good or moral becomes the instability, the mental instability. But the opposite is for well-raised people. The good, the moral is the stability, and the bad, the immoral, is the instability. That actually kind of explains my reaction to him. When everything's good, we're all stable. When I meet that bad person, I get unstable. And again, front of my brain's a marshmallow. I know how to keep my judgment, logic, and words straight, but the way my emotions come out, it's like an on-off switch. There is no in between. It is what, that's what happens when you, anyway. How about those stuck in between being raised horribly, then accepting the deficiencies that you're cursed with? That, that's what happened to me. Or some other people, And I think that, let's see. Then I get into religion, or the next section was to get into religion. And I put a little side note. Most people do drugs to forget or cope with unresolved situations. What about those who resolve all their issues, yet drugs are the only way to forget, cope when they continue to bother you? And I believe that's a form of OCD, and I will continue on that. But do you get what I'm saying? Today, in all these seizures, my heart's going off and all this stuff, and I'm like, it's resolved. Once I did everything I did, sent the messages I sent, talked to the people I needed to talk to, it was done. There's nothing that can be done until either he does something or several weeks to another month or more expires. Nothing else can be done. But I can't let it go. I can let it go for periods of time, and I guess either now or through life or whatever, the gaps get larger and larger, and obsession compulsive. I seem to be obsessed with this. I'm watching TV and the thought will click in, but now it instantly gone. But unfortunately, again, there goes that seizure, there goes that adrenaline, my heart shit, and a little less life left on, my timeline gets a little shorter each time that happens. Medication would fix that, by the way. There is one particular medication I could take to force that part of my brain not to do that to my heart ever. But welcome to Big Daddy government and, public health care and criminalization of medication. So, anyway, as I sit here saying to myself, distract yourself, Joshua. And then every time this happens, I'm like, okay, the thought comes to my mind, again, because I'm so complex, so, do I need to find a bigger, better, whatever distraction to keep my mind from jumping into this thing that I know I can't do anything about right now, so I need to leave it alone, especially since it keeps hitting my heart in seizures. Well, unfortunately, sometimes that distraction, or not even that, just, again, chemical, or, I drank a few beers and started playing some Zelda, Majora's Mask. I still, I'm like at the last temple, still haven't beat the game yet, working on it. And I went ahead and forced myself to play that for a while, to try, again, to pay attention to something, get my mind to let go of that stuff. Now, you say, oh, we are obsessed with the game, and that compulsion is trying to get you off the game. But again, we actually know it's the opposite now. I'm trying to act obsessed with the game, and this thing's coming in like a compulsion. And that is, wow. Okay, so now you see where I'm at here and what we got to work with. All right, well, I've got one option. That's to sit here and wait until he either serves me with an eviction or asks me for rent. That's it. Or he does something that actually really violates my rights or the law, in a criminal fashion that I could press charges on him again for, and I call the police and, get that going. So that's really nothing I can do now, except just wait. Now, these three things. If, we already know what's going to happen if he does something stupid. If he actually goes through, comes back with an eviction, then I'm going to go to the, write to an attorney, write to the courthouse, get an injunction right away. And if that ends up failing, and I let him know, it's the last resort, buddy. If this fails, I'm going to go ahead and, and hit that send button. I'm going to report these violations, of county code ordinance and shut the place down. You want the place shut down because you're not willing to live with me? Or you're willing to live with me in hate and end up in court and possibly fines and fees? Or you want to just have the place shut down? All right. See what happens. Talk to you next time.
Answer the phone, Joshua.